You were saying that stress might bring it on. But I guess they don't. No one really knows why. What is the cause of IBD? There's kind of theories about stress. There's theories that it might be somewhat genetic, or it might just be kind of immune system malfunction. So it could be an autoinflammatory disorder, meaning that your intestines think that there's like some sort of infection there, and so they're mistaking your own tissues then, and they're kind of attacking itself. Or it could even be to do with some sort of bacteria or viral infection from years ago, which triggered the proper immune response, and that's never been turned off, which causes all the ulcers and things like that. Have you ever have you any family history of it, or?
No, I don't have any family history, but you're dead right. It's kind of that stress-related disorder is kind of a sweep in the dark. It's there's a lot more research needs to be done on it, and I think there is a lot more being done on it at the moment. But I've no family history of it at all, and it's just kind of I'm the first of the family, so it's a tough one, and I don't know many people with it as well. I know two people with it,
really, yeah,
and they've had it very severely. So I'm kind of lucky that I'm still able to play.
Yeah, because a lot of people you probably might know they have it. I mean, without you kind of, you've mentioned it in a couple of interviews and things like that, but a lot of people might be kind of going through it, and it's a real struggle, like you were saying, even car trips, and people might just keep it quiet because, the symptoms might be kind of hard to talk about as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You said you were in your 20s when you first figured out what it was.
I was 23 when I got diagnosed. It was August, and I got very, very sick, and I kind of got rid of it then for 6 months, and I came back, and then I had to go on a heavier dose or something, and I was on, they were called Pentasa sachets, or little granules. You just throw them in your mouth, drink them down, they'll eventually work their way down to your gut. So that was that, and then next thing there was bloody suppositories. There's so many, and then there was the next thing, and then there was a higher dose, and then it was a really slow development up to 2014 where they just said, we're going to try this, and went on infleximab or Remicade infusions, whatever you want to call them, and that just literally changed your life. It changed my life in a
Jesus.
And
was that a new drug? Was it, or was it just something that you had tried before?
It wasn't a new drug. It was actually something that they don't want to jump to straight away because you become fairly heavily dependent on it. It's a massively immunosuppressive drug, so I have to be very careful when I get sick because, let's say, recently I got a small tickle in my throat and then I got full-blown tonsillitis and I was sick for 2 weeks.
I suppose, that shows, so there's a bit of research. People are trying to look for more kind of lifestyle treatments, which not necessarily are going to completely treat IBD because it's such a serious disorder, but to try and improve them so you don't have to be so dependent on these drugs, which can have the side effects like you're saying. They can make you more susceptible to other things.
Don't play rugby.
So don't play rugby is the advice from John. You mentioned to me before that you tried the FODMAP diet.
Yeah.
So to give a quick introduction to that, FODMAPs are a real complex science name. Fermentable oligo di and monosaccharides and polyols. And so these are basically short chain carbohydrates which aren't well kind of absorbed in your small intestine, and they make your way to your large intestine. And in healthy people, they're broken down by your gut bacteria, and they actually produce kind of healthy chemicals which are good for kind of healthy people. But in people with IBD or IBS, it can produce a lot of gas, which gives you those symptoms of bloating and abdominal pain and cramp. And so it's shown huge benefits for IBS. So you tried that, but you're saying it actually didn't work. It didn't work yet.
I'm not going to say it didn't work. It actually, to be fair, it did work. But it wasn't sustainable for a professional rugby player, especially a title prop, because I lost 8 kilos, and that was around the same time as I got sick that time. I think that it was actually before I got sick. I think that really killed me because I became kind of lethargic and all that, and then my defences were down, and then I got sick with all those different little things, and probably how I picked up the scrum pox. But it's tough. It makes no sense to a person who's think about healthy food now, because you can eat potatoes, but you can't eat sweet potatoes because sweet potatoes fall under the FODMAP diet. Apples, cheeses, all these kind of just everyday kind of foods that
The good things.
The good things, you know.
Yeah.
The cheeses aren't too good, but
It's interesting.
dairy products they're not good. It's just red meat you're not really allowed to eat. So it was really, really, really tough because I'm a big red meat lover.
Really?
And obviously, I was eating a lot of white meat, and for a fella who's trying to lose a few kgs, I'd suggest the FODMAP diet because you basically can eat nothing. And, and you just the weight falls off you, and as a prop that wasn't exactly great because I went down to 108 kgs, which is the weight of a hooker or even a back row or something.
And you need that for your performance. It is, as you were saying, like all those foods that have FODMAPs in them are actually, it's kind of a contradiction, are actually the ones that like you'd be advising to eat. You know, there's lots of kind of things that they're prebiotic foods basically. They're the ones that get broken down by the bacteria, like onions and garlic I know are a big one. You know, you have to stay away from them, and like a lot of these kind of fibrous foods, as you were saying, like apple and things like that, which are usually good for people that are healthy, but people that have certain intestinal problems, they do have issues. But it actually, there isn't much evidence at the moment. It's interesting to say you said it did work for you apart from the weight.
Yeah.
There isn't that much evidence at the moment showing its effectiveness in IBD. It has shown to be pretty effective in IBS, which is a kind of completely different disorder. The symptoms are similar, but people with IBS don't have that crazy inflammation that you're seeing. Now that you have it under control and you have the medicine, which you say is like brilliant, you know, a life changer, are there any foods now that flare up the symptoms, or can you eat whatever you want?
I literally eat anything I want now,
really?
To be honest, and it's the best thing because I remember when I was on that diet, and I was telling you earlier about the pre-match meal and what we have. There's like trays of turkey and this and this, and I was able to pick up the turkey roll and I have to walk past everything else because there's nothing else to eat. So yeah, I can eat whatever I want now, and it's ideal. And I probably put down my most stressful year to date with regard to playing international rugby, and I don't know, has anyone experienced like a pre-match jitters? Like I get them more than anyone, I'd say.
Really?
So that really gets the butterflies in the stomach, and that's something that would have affected me before, but it doesn't touch me.
That's all right. That's brilliant. You were saying just it's hard on that kind of dependence on the medicine. Do you think maybe after you finish playing rugby, where you don't have to be so careful with your weight, would you like to try and kind of wean off it and try dietary measures as well as medicine? Or
definitely. I think being on this drug long term wouldn't be great for me.
Really?
Because, you know, as I said, it's a massive immunosuppressive drug. So, and I only take it 6 times a year, every 2 months via infusion. So, I also take that in correlation with tablets.
All right. Okay. So it's not like an everyday thing you have to.
There is an everyday tablet, but it's not an everyday infusion kind of job. It's kind of every 2 months. But yeah, I definitely love to pull back off the medication. I've read about fellas like Lewis Moody, who played for England with the Lions, and he kind of tried that as well, and I think it's working for him. So
really?
We follow something similar to that.
And do you think that like huge improvement in your symptoms, did that coincide with your improvement in your form, like your incredible form over the last year, or you know, I suppose it took a while to get back into your fitness and. Yeah,
definitely. It took I suppose last year, 2015, that season I was kind of playing a lot more, and it was slow. The weight was very slow to come up for some reason. I don't know. It's because I remember being just fighting to get above 112, get over it, and now I'm 119. So I've probably gone a bit too far maybe. But it was tough to get that weight up. So I think I got that up maybe last year, and maybe it did coincide with form as well. But my mental state was better than it had been in 5 years.
Really?
Probably, so.
And that's something I wanted to talk about. So I've been lucky enough to be involved in some of this like really exciting research which shows there's a link between the gut and the brain. So they're not only they're physically and biochemically connected. So we have all these nerves in our gut which connect to the brain, especially the vagus nerve, and then our gut and the microbes within them can produce all these incredible chemicals which work in the brain, like certain neurotransmitters, like serotonin, for example, which is nature's antidepressant. So we've kind of known for a while that there is a link between the brain and the gut. For example, if I have an interview or a presentation or something like that, I need to go to the bathroom beforehand, you know. So we know that our brain kind of control the way that our intestines work. And we've kind of also figured out that it might work the other way around, just from phrases we use, like you used a second ago, butterflies in our stomach, or having a gut feeling. Yeah. So did you ever find that your intestinal problems were linked to how you felt mentally then?
Yeah, definitely. As I mentioned a few times, is when I suppose you could nearly say it affected your confidence in a way. Probably it felt like that, but I was sick and I wasn't able to. There was moments where you don't want to kind of leave the house because you're afraid. Oh, if I leave the house, then I can't go to the bathroom. You know, if I go on a long trip, you know, I'm afraid. I'll have to pull in and have to ask a bar owner, can I use their bathroom? And he might turn me away. I might have to sprint around town looking for that. That kind of thing has happened, and it's pretty embarrassing, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I just I started going out with a girl, and I kept it a secret for obviously ages. And I thought, I just need to do this, I need to do that, and I might have to do a number of chores in the middle of a movie.
Yeah.
But I was just going to the bathroom, so it was just a secret. But I eventually became very open with the whole lot of it, and I think that was way better to be. Don't keep it a secret because it'll just, it'll break your spirit.
Exactly, you're right. That's I know it's kind of a brave thing to do as well.
It does. I know, like with the way you're feeling, and it affects your mental state hugely.
Yeah.
Because unless you be open, and unless you can just really challenge it and make sure you're getting as much help medically as possible, and obviously nutritionally as well.
Yeah, of course. And that kind of, I mean, of course, when your symptoms are worse, you're naturally going to feel down, you know. But at the same time, there is this kind of real kind of connection between the gut and the brain, in that people who have severe mental disorders, for example, have been shown to have completely different bacteria in their intestines, and the other way around. People with IBS have been shown to have more, I wouldn't say psychological problems, but definitely more low mood and certain kind of mood problems as well. So did you find then, when your symptoms started to improve with your different medication and things like that, that your mental state, I suppose, improved as well?
Yeah, I definitely 100%. As I said, like for some reason I had very low self-esteem for a few years. I don't know what that was. Maybe it was directly linked with the condition. Maybe it's just I was a bit embarrassed by it and that affected. But when I got that miracle drug, we'll call it, I don't know, I was kind of like, I gotta take every day now. I'm bloody treasure every day, and I'm living life. I can drive to bloody Belfast now without having to stop and all that. So I was kind of like that for a while, and obviously plateaus, and you just live life normally. But yeah, I'm definitely a lot more upbeat in my hand. I haven't had a flare up since 2.5 years, 3 years.
Jeez, that's brilliant.
And before it was not a monthly thing, but every few months anyway.
Yeah.
And for 1 year, for one solid year, it was nearly every month,
really?
few weeks.
Yeah.
So it was.
Jesus. Well, I guess that's everything. You've got a big semi-final this weekend.
Correct.
A potential final the following weekend.
Maybe against your crew.
Maybe, yeah. You know, hopefully Munster Leinster final. And also, you've been named in the Ireland squad for the summer as well, so congratulations on that. What are your prospects for thinking of a potential trophy to cap off a brilliant season?
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. Just one bit of silver, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah. Well,
after a tough whole season.
Big John, thank you very much
Thank you
for talking to me.
Pleasure, all right. Pleasure.